Now for the Virgo rising sign, we say that there are 4 planets that will never cause harm or adverse effects. So these 4 planets are Mercury, ruling the chart itself, Moon, ruling the house of income, friendships, ruling Sun, which is father, and Moon representing mother and grandmother. Jupiter will never cause harm. It rules the 4th house of childhood, parents, property, happiness at home. And Venus will never cause harm. It rules wealth, status, speech, and continuation of family life. So over their lifetime, they knew that it was important to strengthen these 4 planets. So they would wear an emerald gemstone for Mercury, a yellow sapphire for Jupiter, a pearl for the Moon, and a diamond for Venus. They would just acquire these over their lifetime and wear them as rings or as pendants. So maybe when they met, when they were older, they discovered they both had the same 4 gemstones. As Virgos, they knew better than to wear the gemstones for the unfavorable planets. So they would not wear any black gemstones or blue sapphire gemstones or blue topaz for Saturn. They would never wear a red coral gemstone for the Mars. They would never wear a ruby for the Sun. They also learned very early that they should pacify Saturn, Mars, and Sun. So for Saturn, they would help the elderly and the poor and the needy on Saturdays. And they learned how to do the Vedic chants for Lord Shiva, S-H-I-V-A, on Saturdays. For Mars, they would help men who are like brothers on Tuesdays from time to time. And they learned to do the puja, the Vedic chants for Lord Hanuman, H-A-N-U-M-A-N, on Tuesdays. And for the Sun, they would help their father on Sundays. They would stay in touch. Or they would help elderly men on Sundays. And on Sundays, they would do a yoga posture called Surya Namaskar, also known as sunrise salutation. And they had learned to do the Vishnu puja, V-I-S-H-N-U. These pujas take about 7-8 minutes, very simple to do, and they're very powerful. This gives much smoother sailing in life when we do the twofold planetary remedies. And because of their moon in Pisces, they could just know that intuitively, that they needed some remedies for the chart. Mercury in the 12th house, Mercury ruling the chart in the 12th house, kept him a little more private, mysterious, more reclusive. But they loved traveling to foreign lands. They loved to spend time in lush green environments and intellectual study. And they always kept green plants in their home and workspace. Now Jupiter at 1 degree is conjunct Rahu at 1 degree. So this did cause some stress on the liver, gallbladder, and hips. This also caused some stress relative to children. Desire for children, but loss of children. Eclipse of children. So there may have been some miscarriages or abortions or just no children at all. No time for children. But it was better. If they had children, this would have caused loss of the child. Rahu on Jupiter ruling the 4th house gave them desires for property and home life, but not so settled. This is an air sign, so there was change. Movable sign. It had different homes, different places to live. This also caused some separation connected with her parents. Jupiter ruling the 4th house of parents is conjunct Rahu. That can cause some eclipse or separation. And Jupiter is under the influence of Ketu as well. So it caused some highs and lows for the parents. Desires, non-desires. I want, I don't want. Material life versus spiritual life. It caused some eclipse of traditional home life. So the twins ended up separate from each other. Some separation caused by Rahu and Ketu. Saturn in the 3rd house does not cause any damage. Its 3rd, 7th, and 10th aspects are benign because it's not within 5 degrees of Mercury or 5 degrees of the rising sign degree. This generally helps protect health and finances and helps the twins overcome enemies and obstacles, and they can win in disputes. But they are not comfortable in brown colors, gray colors, or black colors. These are not favorable for the twins. They feel much more comfortable in all shades of green, all shades of yellow, all shades of white, and all light blue, sky blue, royal blue colors. And they knew that it was an omen, a nimitta. Somebody came up in a black car. So maybe they didn't trust government officials in black cars. They knew it was an omen if somebody came up wearing black or in a black car. So they knew that represented conflict and disputes. Moon in the chart gets very high marks. It's at 10 degrees. It is it's 50, 80, 110. So about 138 degrees from the sun, which is very good. If Moon was back over here opposite the sun in Capricorn, then that means they would have been born during the full moon. So they were born 4 days after the full moon, but it is still quite bright. There are no afflictions to the moon. And Moon's sign of Cancer is not afflicted. So they had an above average ability to comprehend, to understand, and emotionally connect with others. Also gave him a very good mother. But they had more peace of mind when they wore white clothing. So when they meditated, they would wear the white Indian dhoti, the white shirt and white pants. Both twins, even though separate from each other, would have the same feelings and characteristics. And if one fell ill, so did the other. Very strong connection between the two on a telepathic or sensitive level. Now Mars at 15 degrees throws an aspect 4, 7, and 8 houses away. It's outside the 5-degree orbit of Saturn, Rahu, Jupiter, no problem. But it is within 3 degrees of the Sun. Mars is military and intelligence, and Sun is father. Made the father very competitive, athletic, and it keeps him in the area of intelligence and makes him an above average surgeon. But father may have had some high blood pressure. And because Mars rules the 8th house and influences Sun ruling father, it gave the father keen interest in the 8th house significations. So that's research, language, mystical sciences, ancient knowledge, occult knowledge. Venus at 22 degrees in Gemini is extremely well placed. Venus is not afflicted. This gives tremendous wealth and status connected with their professional life over time. Makes them highly ambitious, charismatic, persuasive, gives them magnetic personality because of the Rahu influence on Libra ruled by the Venus. I'm glad that Rahu is not at 5, 4, 3, or 2 degrees, because then that would be a tremendous affliction. So this is not an affliction, but it does cause some discontinuation of family life relative to parents, siblings, spouse, or children. So that means there can be some separation between their parents. And Saturn in the house of younger siblings is connected with step siblings or adopted siblings. And because Jupiter rules older brothers, and it is at 1 degree, afflicted by Rahu at 1 degree, and Ketu at 1 degree. So this would cause a total eclipse of an older sibling. It was likely a miscarriage or abortion before they were born. So these are the main points on the horoscope for the twins. Let's now turn to the timing of events in life.